I don't know, about $100 to administer a blood test to see what somebody's got in their system. It's not a lot of money, right, for the insurance company.
I just didn't hear you.
Blood test. It's not a lot of money for an insurance company to pay, right, to cover.
Correct.
Okay. So do you feel that it is reasonable medical procedure for a psychiatrist dealing with a woman who is expressing under the Edinburgh scale off the charts or serious trouble, who is on medication, as we went through, the antipsychotic drugs, the SSRI drugs, the amitriptylines at the end of the period of treatment with these people, the benzodiazepines, it's helpful to take a blood test, right?
It can be.
And is that, in your opinion, sir, to a reasonable degree of medical certainty, a step that should be taken by a competent doctor?
That taking blood tests can be appropriate, yes.
And then there's an additional blood test that you can use when you're dealing with a woman who's suffering from postpartum depression or coming to the doctor for help and they have significant narcotics or prescription drugs in their system, and that would be an enzyme test, right?
I'm not aware of an enzyme test being typically available or used.
Well, it costs a lot of money, doesn't it? Like, it costs a couple of grand?
I don't know.
All right. In any event, sir, are there any other concerns that one would have if they're competent and they're treating somebody that's come to them for help in addition to a blood test and perhaps enzyme test to determine the metabolizing aspect of the person's system, metabolizing or processing these drugs that are in their system, the enzyme test? Are there any other tests or concerns that you have with a woman whose postpartum depression complaints come to your doorstep?
Well, depending on the presentation, sometimes it's helpful to check thyroid function. That can certainly be a cause of psychiatric symptoms.
Did they do a thyroid test on Lindsay?
No.
That's not a lot of money that the insurance company would complain about, right?
Correct.
One of the things that I just don't want to forget, sir, is that the district attorney asked you, while we're talking about the drugs, about the Lamictal, otherwise known as lamotrigine. Did I pronounce that right?
Lamotrigine, yes.
Lamotrigine. And she said that Lamictal, it has a side effect of a rash, right? You recall that, sir?
I think I said serious rash.
No, I think she said rash. You may, it's up to the jury what their recollection is, but you may have said serious rash, but we both agree. It's a serious rash, right?
Yes.
In fact, it can be fatal, right?
In very rare occasions, yes.
It can be fatal, right?
Yes, in very rare occasions.
Well, if one person out of 1,000 gets Stevens-Johnson syndrome or prurigo nodularis as a result of taking that medication, that's something that we should not tolerate as doctors, right?
Risks and benefits are something that every physician, every prescriber needs to think about.
So you've heard of, as it relates to Lamictal as a prescription drug, what's called 10. You've heard of that, right? As a side effect?
Yes.
And that means what?
It is a pretty severe reaction of the skin, as I recall, causing blistering. I mean, it's very significant.
So if you have a young woman who is a nurse, an RN, who worked for 7 years in a very prestigious hospital's labor and delivery unit, who was so nervous about drugs that were being prescribed to her that she would at night sit in her kitchen on her phone and Google all sorts of side effects of narcotics, the drugs, the Seroquel, lamotrigine, all of these drugs. Is it an unreasonable decision for her to say, I don't want to take that drug, in your opinion?
It seems like you're asking, is it reasonable to decide not to take the drug?
Yeah, that's what she did. That's what you told us yesterday. That's what the DA asked you yesterday, right?
It was a decision that she made.
And in your opinion, sir, after we just went through all of this with the TENS, with the toxic epidural necrolysis and all the rest of that, and she's a nurse, and she's looking up these drugs that she's being prescribed and says, I don't wish to take that drug, in your opinion, to a reasonable degree of psychiatric certainty based on your experience, is that a reasonable decision for her to say, I don't want to take it?
The benefits of that drug are profound, and millions of Americans take that medication and find it to be very important for them.
Doctor, you're an intelligent man, you're a doctor, you've got a lot of experience dealing with the prison system, we've already gone over all of that. You understand my question, don't you?
Yes.
Is that a reasonable decision for Lindsay to make to say, I don't wish to take that drug? Based on all the side effects, whether or not it's rare that people die, whether or not it's rare that they break out on their skin with these permanent lesions and bleeding pustules, is it reasonable for her to say, I don't want to take it?
In her mind, it was.
Yeah. And certainly, we don't want to leave it with the jury that she's so vain that she just didn't want to take something that she might get a little rash with, right? In any event. Now, have in mind, there's no blood test, there's no enzyme test for metabolite test, there's no thyroid test, but we still have the pill factory through Dr. Tufts and then into Dr. Gelada for that period of time. You're telling this jury that that is, in your opinion, reasonable little drug doses that she was prescribed? Is that what you're telling this jury, sir?